When starting a project in Premiere, you want to open it up and choose New Project. Give it a name. So for this assignment, you guys will be doing something like camera shots. Don't worry about the rest of this. Click on OK. And then the interface for Premiere is going to open up. You're going to notice that right here where the timeline is, it says no sequences. We need to create a sequence so that you have a place to edit. Go to File, New, Sequence. And the default, if it's the first time you've opened up Premiere, is the DVNTSC. This is your old 4:3 ratio. You can see that listed up here. That's what our old televisions were. We don't really use that anymore. So I want you guys to make sure that you come down to the HDV folder, and your camera should have been set to film at HDV 1080, and the frame rate for video is 30. So this is what you're looking for right here. Click on OK. We now have a sequence to edit. Let's bring in our footage. And you can double click. Oops, I'm in my libraries, so that didn't work. I need to make sure I'm where it says project. This is our bin, so I can double click here and then go get my footage. So I've got mine on the desktop in a folder called camera shots. And you can either come in and shift click this, or I can click on the name of the folder and import the entire folder. If you import a folder, it keeps the folder in your bin as well, which is kind of nice. Now I can go ahead and I want to get my footage over here onto the timeline, but you need to edit each shot to 5 seconds, and an easy way to do that is if you double click on the icon in front of the name. It's going to give you a preview of the shot here, and you can hit play. That will preview your shot. And I can see, looking at this screen, that this shot is 6 seconds and 20 frames long. Perfect, because I need to give myself a little bit of editing room anyway. But I can click and drag in here and decide maybe I don't want my shot to start until after he walks by. So right there, that foot is gone. And then I can choose this mark in point, and it's told it forget about all of that. And then I'm going to come down to the end. If I want to make sure I have exactly 5 seconds, just add 5 to whatever you have here, so that would put me at 6:23. So I scroll all the way down here, and my problem is it only goes to 6:21. That's a 2-frame difference. So I'm going to come back here and put it at 1:21 and make a new endpoint. There's a little bit of the foot left, but it's close enough that most people won't notice it. And then I can have my output at the end, so I'm going to mark the output point. If I have an input and an out point set, then I can click inside the screen and drag it down to my timeline. If you get this message that the clip does not match, that means that the footage that you shot was not shot at 1080p 30. Might have been 1080i 30, it might have been 720. We don't know what happened with that footage. I want you to make sure that you choose Keep Existing Settings, because this timeline is set to the right quality of footage that we want. So choose Keep Existing Settings. And then if I scroll, I can see, yeah, that's a lot smaller. So this footage that I grabbed from an old student was shot at 720. If your footage is not the correct, if it doesn't match, you can just right-click on the clip down here and choose Scale to Frame Size. You're definitely better off filming at the right setting, but if we're in a situation like this where I can't go back and refilm that, the student graduated 3 years ago, then that scale is going to work for me. And this has been set to 5 seconds. In fact, if I put that at the very beginning of my timeline, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see that shot, when I come to the end, I'm a couple frames off here, it looks like, but it says 4:28. That's pretty close. Actually right there at the end, 4:29, so I'm there, I'm good. So that's how we can get an exactly 5-second shot down on the timeline. If you need to change things down here, because I made that cut, there is still footage that used to exist here and used to exist here. I can come back and pull that back out if I change my mind on either end, so I can get that entire clip back down here if I need to. And then I still have that guy walking across, so maybe I've decided I want that, but I'm going to cut this end. So now I've got 5 seconds on my clip. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of your different shots on here. I don't care what orders. So this one again is too small, so I'm going to right click and scale to frame size. I just want you to make sure that each of these shots are exactly 5 seconds. With this one, looks like we're too long as well. I can come in and start editing this. If you look at that bubble that pops up to the bottom right, it's telling me the duration of my clip, so I can use that to make it an even 5 seconds as well. So just keep going until you have all 19 of your shots on the timeline.